Hey there, it's Kevin Bullard, Chief Leadership Officer here at the City of Garland. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Leader Talk. I'm really excited about our guest today. She reminded me that I met her at a meeting a couple of months ago, and when I saw her out in the lobby, she told me she felt like she was coming to a job interview, and it's great. So she's feeling the pressure, and we're going to keep that pressure on her, and everything's going to be all right. So my guest today is Amanda Brenkus, and Amanda, you are the supervisor for tax and revenue recovery here for the city.
Yes.
Yeah, so thanks for being here.
Well, sure. I'm excited to be here, and I'm nervous to be here, but thank you for inviting me to be here. So,
Well, good. I'm actually glad that you are a little nervous, and we'll start there. I'm glad you're nervous because you're doing this anyway.
yes,
Um,
exactly.
the very first Adventures of Riverside email I sent out talked about, the fear of looking incompetent and how we should have some courage to do things. And tell us a little bit about that. I mean, you said you read it and then it was time to record. I mean, tell me about that.
I read it and I thought, oh my God, he's talking to me. Did he send this to me? Or is this for everyone? Because it's not like me to do something like this.
Yeah.
Public speaking. It's just, I just I don't look for it. But yet, I felt like I really wanted to sit down with you when I got this opportunity. So, I'm going
Awesome.
for it.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you're going for it. And tell me, what is it taking for you to be here today? Like, what did you have to get by? Even like thoughts you were telling yourself and all that.
Oh, it's been tough. It's been tough. Really, a lot of I love reading motivational books, self-help, so I know what to do and how to get past being scared or
Yeah.
having a fear, but doing it is
Yeah.
so different from just reading about it and going, that is a great idea. I'm going to use that one day.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have not put myself in this type of feeling or situation since the day I got this job. And
Wow.
that's been 4.5 years ago, where
Wow.
I've been like nervous to step out. So it was the time to do it.
Yeah.
I got it. I'm gonna grow. So
Awesome.
I'm doing it.
And not only are you gonna grow, you're already growing just by doing this. So
I think so.
I think the very first thing we can take from this is fear happens, anxiety. I mean, it happens, and you do it scared.
Right.
You do it because that's the only way to really make anything happen anyways, to actually do it. So I'm happy that you're here and that you did the work that you had to do intellectually
Right.
and emotionally to be here. So thank you. All right. So you said you've been with the city for 4.5 years. Tell us
Yes.
about your job. What does that look like?
Well, it's been a very fast 4.5 years. I feel like I just got here, really. But my job, I've got two different little departments. I've got the little property tax department, not really little, but
Right.
I've got property tax department and revenue recovery department. They're separate, but they're in the same little office. So
Okay.
we are just, yelling across the room to each other all day long, and
Voicing that.
right, we're just there in that same room.
Okay.
So I oversee really the billing and collection of all residential and business tax debts. So that is thousands and thousands of accounts that we are monitoring, being careful, reviewing every month. So that's what it looks like on the tax side.
Okay.
And on the revenue recovery side, I am responsible for the billing and collection of abatement liens. So, and that's of course very generalized. There's so much more that
Sure.
really goes in between there.
Sure.
But that's what those two departments are. And a typical day, just to give you an idea, might look like really, we've got customers coming to the window all day long. And so they've got questions, they've got payments, and we're helping them. We've got phones that are going off all day too. So answering by phone, responding to emails, taking payments. This time of year is our peak time. We're kind of next
Okay.
couple of months for the tax season.
Yeah.
So we've got large quantities of mail that we're working on posting every day too. So it's a busy day.
And you're sitting here with me while they're over there doing all that work.
I know. I feel bad, but no, it's okay. It's okay.
You're like,
I'll get back.
I'll get you back over there as soon as I can. All right. All right. So what drew you into this field initially?
Well, it's really a helping job. It's a way to help people, and I'll tell you
Okay.
why. What I think is that the property tax is very complex, especially in Texas, of course. And I brought this book to show. We abide by the Texas Property
Wow.
Tax Code, which is a pretty big book.
That's a pretty
Pretty
sizable
big.
book. Yeah.
And these statutes that we abide by can change every 2 years.
Wow.
So I'm learning something new. As you can see, I got my little tabs
Yeah.
all the time,
Right.
really. So what's a taxpayer supposed to do when they don't know this?
Sure.
There's so many questions. They think, well, who would I even ask? Do I Google this or that? You can turn to us.
Yeah.
We're the ones with the knowledge. We're the ones who have been studying this thing, inside and out. So come to us. Give us a call. We can tell you about the basics. Because sometimes people just move it into the city of Garland, don't know, what do I do? Where do I go? Those
Right.
kinds of things. So common things we talk about would be, how do you protest your property tax value? Well, we can tell you where to go, how to do it, when to do it. There's a special time of year. It's April, and it's at the Dallas Central Appraisal District. So there you go. How to apply for exemptions. That's at the Dallas Central Appraisal District, and you can do it online or in their office.
Right.
And we could sit with you, or we could go over the phone and look at your account to see if you qualify for any payment plans. So
Got it.
just so much information that we can help, we can give, we
Yeah.
can teach.
So you just said it again, and I wanted to come back
Okay.
to that word. You said the phrase. You said it was a helping job, and then you just said give and teach. And I'm going to be honest with
Okay.
you, and maybe I speak for anybody who's watching this. When I think about taxes and people who are like collecting the taxes and the payments and fees and such, I don't think help.
No.
And so I love that context that you have, and I assume a context that you've also created for your colleagues who are doing this work, that this is a helping job. Give me a win that you've seen for your team as relates to helping or giving or teaching, like what you qualify as a win in that regard.
Okay. Well, like you said, for some citizens, they might not think of this as a win.
Sure.
But for our office, we think of this as a win. One comes to mind. In September, end of September, we have a major project that we do. So it is a mass undertaking of the annual properties tax statement mail out.
Okay.
So, maybe not something they're looking forward to, but
Right.
we are kind of excited to get the season started. So it's a huge deal for us. We're planning ahead of time, really for weeks, getting things ready to go, making sure we have paper envelopes, all these things. So the good thing and the best part about it is that we have, of course, the team from tax, but we also have the team from revenue recovery that rolls up their sleeves and says, what can I do? How do you need me? How can I help you?
Got it.
And gosh, we need their hands.
Right.
So really, we have a third-party vendor that's printing and sending most of our tax bills.
Mm-hmm.
But in-house, we print about 8,000 to 10,000 ourselves.
Oh, wow.
So it's a big job.
No kidding.
What that looks like, if you can picture it, would be we've got all our little printers running. We've got our little paper folding machine that we're fighting with because it won't fold correctly. We're stuffing every single one of those envelopes by hand. And so we've got stacks and stacks of statements all over our desks. But with all of us together working
Yeah.
on this thing for all day long,
Mm-hmm.
over the course of a couple of days, we got it. It's done. The last one's in the mail. So just the feeling is so great to be able to go, we did it. We did it.
That's amazing that you get 8,000 to 10,000 of those done in a couple of days.
Right. The printing itself, just really takes all day.
Yeah.
And then all the other process that goes into that. So I feel like for us it's a win because we really, did it together.
Yeah. And folks coming out of their regular responsibilities to help
It's
out.
not their job to do.
Yeah.
But yet they say, I'll help, So
That's awesome.
appreciate it.
Well, good. Well, thanks for sharing that.
Sure.
All right. So here's what I want to ask you next. Let's move into this whole thing's been about leadership because obviously you're displaying some type of leadership if the folks on the revenue side are saying, hey, how can we help? Like they're living through some context already that has been created through leadership. But I want to talk about leadership with you specifically. So who is it that has influenced you the most with your leadership? Who or what? And what have you learned?
Well, this is a little different because when I'm thinking back about who was my leader, like a mentor for me, or who was someone that really had a lasting impact on when I think back
Hmm.
about, prior supervisors. And it was actually, I was coming from the private sector,
Okay.
and it was a supervisor that taught me basically what not to do.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, you know, hard to go through, but now I see what I wanted to do differently was be empathetic
Hmm.
to my employees. I wanted to be kinder when they made mistakes and being creative, thinking outside the box. It's just different ways that we can, a different approach that
Yeah.
we could take. And then even, just being there for people and realizing there are different ways to approach things rather than just one very strict way, which we think maybe leaders need to be strict or harsh, and I don't believe that. So,
Hmm.
mhm.
Got it. So let me ask you this. I have seen in some instances where folks are under a leader who, I'll take the opposite of what you said. Like maybe they're not being empathetic, they're not being creative, they're not being kind. And folks say, oh, all right. Well, that seems to be working. That's how to lead. And so they get in a leadership position and they start doing the same thing. What is it with you that made you want to do a 180 and say, no, I don't want this? What is it about you that didn't make you adopt that as like the way to lead?
Right. And I felt it when I started. When I just stepped into the role, I thought when something would come up, something would come up. I immediate first thought was to handle it in a harsh way
Really? All right.
and to really kind of be snapping at people, and I immediately realized I'm doing what I
Wow.
heard over the last 14 years really what it was of this type of leadership. And I just realized I can't do that.
Yeah.
I hated that.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I've got to turn it around. Do I want someone to talk to me like that?
All right.
So that's what changed for me.
That's great. Well, good. And I'm sure the people who worked for you appreciated it as well.
I think so.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about your most meaningful leadership mistake. A mistake you made, and I say meaningful just because it's like you got a lot from it. You learned something from it. What would that be for you?
Hmm. I think in the beginning, you're just learning, and I didn't think about adapting my own leadership style to each different person that, each employee.
Yeah.
I wanted to treat them fairly or maybe all the same, thinking they were coming at the maybe same level or knew the same amount. It was wrong. That was wrong to do.
Hmm.
You know, I needed to, and what I'm learning now to do is to meet them where they are, to try to give them what they need to succeed. Not everybody's, maybe caught on as quickly, or maybe people need retraining, or maybe a little softer approach,
Yeah.
maybe more direct approach. But I can't treat everyone exactly. I can't have the same leadership style for each person. So that's been a real lesson for me.
That's really, really good. And it reminds me of one of my favorite quotes is by Ken Blanchard. Some one of his books. He says, "There is nothing so unequal than to treat unequals equally." And in the context he's talking about is exactly what you're saying, Amanda. It's people are different. They're different learning styles or different stages of development. And what did it make possible for you to make that change?
Well, you know what? I feel like I've seen that people are more open to what I have to say.
Hmm.
Um, they're easily feeling like they can come to me and that I will listen to their opinions and help them. We just help kind of work together to find a way to meet their need. What do you need from me? I'm willing.
Yeah.
I'm willing. So tell me what you need. So I'm liking it. I like it. I hope that they do too.
Yeah. I love that. The openness part. They're more open, and I imagine most folks have heard this that people don't leave jobs; they leave bosses. And with them being more open to you, I mean, likely to stick around longer, and it gives you an opportunity to just really to lead them well and in different ways. That's really awesome.
And you said something important too. I also learned about I wanted to keep them all.
Hmm.
And I like them all so much. I want to keep them. I don't want anyone to go anywhere.
Yeah.
But that's not what it's about. Right?
What is it about?
I'm training them to know everything that they can know, of course, with this job, and to be better and to keep growing within the city and to be long-term employees and to learn to step out on their own or, see what their goals are. And I can't keep them all. And that was hard. I didn't want to let them go, but I have to be encouraging them if they're ready and they need help or they want to, talk something over. Really be positive about whatever changes they want to make or if they are ready to grow. So, ready to grow and leave. That's been tough.
I hear a commitment in there, a commitment for their well-being and their growth, and you're making that commitment bigger than your commitment or your desire
Right.
to want to keep them, and that's big. But I'm sure they appreciate it though, and they can look back and see how you led them and gave them opportunity.
And I can still keep in contact with them. It doesn't mean that I lose them. I still go to lunch with some. So, we're still friends. We can still be friends. We can still talk. We can still share our lives. They've gone there. They've gone up.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. So
Awesome. Well, good. That's such rich leadership lessons. Just adapting one's leadership style, leading people in a way so that they're open to you, not hoarding talent for yourself, but developing people so that they can go and do and grow. So that's really good.
thank you.
You're welcome. So, couple more questions for you, Amanda. Here's the first one. What would you say to new leaders in the city? Like, what advice would you give them?
I would tell them to embrace a growth mindset. So you're going to find challenges. And you're going to want to see those challenges as opportunities to grow and to learn more. Again, you're going to want to be kinder when mistakes are made because we all make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
We're not meaning to. It's not to be mean or it's just, we just make mistakes. So, and let's see. And again, to think outside of the box when you're trying to solve problems. Not always, obviously, but just be open to other ways of solving problems.
Yeah. Okay. I'd like for you to say a little bit more about the growth mindset. I don't want to take for granted that everyone knows what that is. So, book by Carol Dweck called Mindset. And you told us about growth mindset. What's the other mindset?
The other mindset would be a fixed mindset.
Okay.
And it's been a while since I read the book, but it's just something once you read it, you're like, I love this.
Yeah.
This is eye-opening.
So distinguish them for us, fixed versus mindset versus growth?
Sure. The other one is just so stagnant and so closed-minded, like there's no other way, there's no other options to solve a problem. And you really stay fixed and small if you're just, if you're on the opposite side of that growth. So it's really, really interesting. I encourage anybody to read that book because she's just got so much in there that really is eye-opening, like I said. So
yeah, it's a good book. So I'm glad you brought that up. So thank you. So here's the last question. Tell me a little bit about Creed and Metallica.
Okay.
What do you know about those guys?
Well, my husband and I spend a lot of time our kids are grown up and we only have one dog. So we spend a lot of time hanging out. We go to the lake. We go to concerts a lot, frequently. So a lot of times we've seen Metallica a bunch of times. We've seen Creed. We've seen just Pearl Jam. I don't know, just everybody that we really want to see that comes to town. We can.
Yeah.
We can because you know what? It's just us. So
Nice.
it's a great way, just being somewhere where you enjoy that music puts you back in a time period.
Sure.
It's just a way to recharge. It's a way to reset and just come back feeling good. Just a really positive feeling that you get from spending time together and
Yeah.
doing things that you really enjoy together.
Right. And how does that help you as a leader? Like that recharge time?
Well, I love it. I feel like I need it because sometimes if I'm just in a peaceful place, let's just say at the lake or on the water, then I am a lot of times really thinking about things that happened during the week. And that's where I can kind of figure out what I need to do, what I should have said, how I can fix things. So it's comforting to kind of to just have time to do that.
Excellent.
Set aside time to do that.
Got it. All right. Well, I'm really glad you're here with me today.
Thank you.
I'm very disappointed that you didn't wear a Metallica t-shirt, but maybe next time, all right?
Maybe.
All right.
Maybe so.
Well, thank you, Amanda.
Thank you, Ken.
And thank you for watching this episode of Leader Talk. Amanda shared so many great leadership nuggets, and I'm hopeful that as Amanda spoke, you were thinking about yourself and your experiences in your leadership, and taking this full circle. I'm hopeful you'll try something out, like that very thing that you feel like is like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. That's just not me. Have a growth mindset, push yourself, and give it a shot. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next month with the next episode of Leader Talk. Until then, keep leading. See you later.